Our Region's Business is sponsored by PNC for the Achiever in You. Welcome to Our Region's Business with your host, Bill Flanagan.
Today on Our Region's Business, a signature riverfront hotel in the city of Pittsburgh gets a major makeover and launches a celebration of Pittsburgh champions to mark the occasion. Plus how micro-lending is starting businesses and changing lives in our region. But first, our diversity challenge. It's no secret that our region has one of the least diverse populations of all the nation's major metros. It's an issue because of the aging of our workforce. We're going to need to attract people to replace baby boomers as they retire, and the populations that are growing across the country and are most likely to be available to come here are much more diverse than the population that lives here now. So what do we do about it? And how will we know whether we're making any progress? Well, PittsburghToday.org and Vibrant Pittsburgh have stepped up to develop a baseline, a new diversity indicator that compares our region to 14 competitors. Melanie Harrington is back with us. She's President and CEO of Vibrant Pittsburgh. And Doug Heuck is Director of PittsburghToday.org. Welcome back yourself, two frequent visitors to our region's business. Good to see you.
Thanks, Bill.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, first the why behind this index, because there's a lot of data, a lot of numbers rolling around related to diversity. It's been talked about for years around here, but why did you want a more systematic way to look at it?
We wanted to reposition the issue as one of an economic development issue, that everybody has a stake in this game, if you will, of talent attraction, growth, and ultimately the diversity of our region. And by looking at where we are relative to the growth of diversity in the region, particularly in the workforce, which is what this initiative is about, we can look at it relative to how other regions are doing. And what we have discovered is we are not stacking up well. We're falling behind.
So what do we find, Doug, when you really look at the numbers and do the comparing?
Yeah, well, we find that minorities, which we are defining as African Americans, Asians, and Hispanics, account for 11% of our workforce. The benchmark average is 25%. And Atlanta, I think, is in the mid-40s, and we're the lowest. So we knew that we were, as you said, a very white, so to speak, region. This, looking at it through the lens of economy and workforce with an eye towards our future needs, really shows us that we have a long way to go. And one of, as you know, probably better than anybody, we're looking at a looming worker shortage of up to 140,000 people, depending on how you look at the numbers. And so if we're going to bridge that gap, a big way of doing it is going to be attracting more diverse workers and also kind of elevating those who are already here.
Yeah, so two prongs on that, but when you talk about attracting people, I would imagine it's a bigger challenge when there aren't very many people like them who are already here.
And that's exactly the case, but we also present an opportunity for people who are not here, that there is a big kind of call to action for our region, and I think this is the message that we say to people that we're trying to attract here, that although the numbers may not be big, you are getting in the short line to opportunity by coming to Pittsburgh. So come take a look, see what is here for you.
That's an interesting point. Yeah, in some sense, we're going to have to accelerate the growth of the people we can get to be able to replace all those baby boomers a decade out. When you actually begin to look at the workforce, though, is it evenly distributed across all occupations? Is it all playing out the same way, or did you really see differences?
Yeah, when you unpack the information, you do see differences across sectors and industries. So we looked at the different industries in the region. We find that in certain areas you have an overrepresentation, for example, of African Americans in lower paying wage jobs and industries and sectors that are not growing as much as others in the region. So that's something we want to be aware of. You do see a difference between the different racial and ethnic groups in terms of average wages and representation, but overall we are lagging behind across the board, but you do see some differences.
Well, we've heard for years that our Asian population tends to be better educated professionals and whatever. I wonder on Latinos, because that population's grown pretty rapidly right now.
And even so, with the Asians and Hispanic populations, those wage-wise, compared to the benchmark regions, are doing much better here than in other. They're doing better, relatively speaking, than in other places. And part of that is because we're not historically getting a lot of those populations moving here, just kind of coming in over the transom. They're coming here for a job. So the people we are getting are the better educated, and they're here specifically for a job. Therefore, their wages are better than places where you know, Asians or Hispanics might move simply to be part of a larger community. And
I know Melanie's got a copy of the report on her lap, but if somebody, I assume it's available online somewhere, people can track it down.
It is available, and it's very readable at pittsburghtoday.org.
Okay, very good. Well, it's important work. It's really critical to the future, and now we've got a way to measure just how we're doing. Terrific.
Yes, we do. Thank you.
Melanie Harrington from Vibrant Pittsburgh, Doug Heuck from Pittsburgh Today. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks Bill.
Next up, the big impact a microloan can have in getting a new business off the ground. Stay with us.